Right, okay. Welcome everyone. I'm really delighted today to welcome Louise Nonweiler from Hypnosis for Traders. I believe that mindset is a big part of trading, and Louise is actually going to be doing a webinar for my academy clients in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm delighted to have her here today. Louise, welcome to the channel.
Thanks, Ross. It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
No, it's absolutely a pleasure to have you. So, first of all, I guess, do you want to give us a bit of a background about yourself, what your past is, how you got to where you are today? I know you've got your family is a family of traders as well. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about that and how you got to to where you are today?
Yeah, of course. Basically, trading has been in my life since I was young. I do come from a family of very successful traders. Two of my uncles were traders, and so I kind of have always grown up with it, really. And basically, I traded forex for many years, but before that, at the same time, around the same time, I was training to become a clinical hypnotherapist. At the time, I was also a master life coach. So basically, in a nutshell, what happened was I got contacted by a trader who's actually a very good friend today. He was my first trading client, James. And he contacted me and he was like, I'm really struggling. Like, I'm feeling stressed. And obviously, I knew a lot about trading and the stress and the challenges and things like that. So we worked together. And in a very short space of time, like the changes were phenomenal. And the way we worked together was hypnosis and the subconscious. And, we did a bit of coaching as well. But then I sort of went away and I thought, well, hang on a minute, how much help is there out there for traders? And I realized for the amount of traders, there really wasn't a lot of help. So that's really when I founded and created Hypnosis for Traders. And, since then it's just evolved it's just evolved over the last decade, helping well over 1,000 traders. I've got a podcast and courses and so much more.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting, isn't it, like you say there. I think it's talked about a lot in terms of like the mindset side of things that traders need to focus on. But like you say, the actual help that is out there is often it's not provided. There's not a lot of practical help for traders to actually overcome their mindset issues and things that they face. It's like they know that they're there, but the actual education around it and the practical techniques that they need to implement to overcome it is often sort of like, yeah, like I say, not really actually accessible to them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your friend James, was he already a successful, profitable trader going through a tough moment, or was he sort of like in that journey trying to get to profitability and stuff?
Yeah, I think, for James, he was a very good trader. He had a great strategy, but he really came up to a situation where he was just experiencing loss after loss. And so that really affected, obviously, his psychology. And he took quite a bit of a dip and we got him out of that.
Yeah.
And then after that, we did actually work together for a few years on and off. And, we were able to get him to a position and a level where he never got to before, even though he was an excellent trader.
Yeah.
It was pretty much his psychology that was the issue.
Yeah. And what sort of generally sort of clients do you work with? Are they mainly that sort of like where they're sort of like they're on their journey and they've hit this obstacle, or is it like more experienced traders who maybe have come up against an obstacle after a period of time, or is it sort of like really a generalization? You work with all types of clients along all parts of the journey.
Pretty much all types of clients. So the most common sort of trader that I work with is, they're very experienced. They've probably been trading at least 3 years. They've got a good strategy, but now they've realized they've got to a point, it's my psychology. This is a problem. And so they normally contact me at that time. But I work with traders from all levels, traders who are just sort of starting out, to traders who are 6, 7 figure traders, helping them to scale up to a different level. I also work with traders in corporations and banks, and that is generally not around their performance, is helping them to manage stress better. So it is quite a range of clients, really.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, cool. And like obviously each trader is unique. Every client that you work with would be sort of unique. But would you say there's like a sort of common theme, a common denominator, or a common issue, or something that is common that helps people break through? Is there something common, or is it again, is it like just everyone's unique and it's about finding out as an individual trader?
Yeah, so basically, obviously, I specialize in the subconscious mind and hypnosis. So I work, I do coach in sessions, but the majority of the session is around working with the subconscious mind, my client's subconscious, and the belief system. So every client I work with, I do look at as sort of individual because everybody is unique. But what I have found more often than not is that most of my clients, if not all of them, are struggling with limiting beliefs,
Yeah.
if not most of us are,
Yeah.
and so one of the areas that I always work on is a belief system, because even if we just worked on that, they would see really good changes. So that is a common theme, is the belief system. But everybody's different, but most traders are struggling with self-sabotage and inconsistency.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's. I mean, you're right there with the belief system, because obviously trading does go. It's very counterintuitive, right? It goes against a lot of the
Mm.
stuff that we are taught and we're brought up in terms of like societal norms and everything like that. So when you're actually trading, pretty much at every turn you're challenging the belief system that you've been told as you brought up and everything like that. So yeah, it's very interesting. Like yeah, I can understand why a lot of people, like by working on that belief system within the subconscious mind, can overcome a lot of the issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think about it, like if a trader's got a belief that, they've got a negative belief around money,
Yeah.
they are only going to reach a certain point
Yeah.
level in their trading. And
Yeah,
I've
before
seen
they
it.
start self-sabotaging. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing how the subconscious works. It's like an invisible barrier.
Yeah.
Um, but it can also serve us really well, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree, because I mean, obviously, one of the things I actually talk about in my courses is building some of the processes into your subconscious. Like, so having like, rather than having to think about, the setup, how much you should be risking, those sorts of things that you should be doing. Like, if you can actually build them into subconscious so that they just become a natural part of the
Mm.
process, that obviously takes off the cognitive, that like reduces the cognitive load, and obviously then that can allow you to focus on the things that you aren't in control of, you can't have as a subconscious, and react to the market in the moment, sort of thing.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Because, in trading, the less decisions, the less stress.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And then so like when you're working with a client, and I mean, I guess this is sort of like a two-part question. Like, would you say you work more intensely with beginners traders, or do you work more in like, and then it gets less intense as they progress through experience? Or is it like you work more intensely with someone when they have an issue? But I'm guessing, I mean, certainly from my point of view, mindset and working on your mindset is an ongoing thing, right? So it's not like, okay, we can just focus on it, sort it out, and that's it, done. We have to continue working on it. So is it like, does it become less intense, or is it like a continual thing that you work on with the clients ongoing?
That's a really good question. No one's ever asked me that before. It's really good. So the question is, when a trader comes to me, of course everybody's individual, but normally when they come to me, they're highly stressed, they're burnt out, it's their last chance saloon, if you like. And so we do have to work on an accumulation of things. The most important thing for me is their health and well-being and their mental state. So that's really what we will address. But what I found is, once we get them to a place where they overcome their kind of subconscious patterns and behaviors that are holding them back, and we get them to a space of consistency, then it really is, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's just helping them to maintain. And when they maintain for a certain time, then we scale up.
Yeah.
Slow and steady. So it is more intense in the beginning because generally they're very stressed.
Yeah.
Maybe their sleep's affected, their relationships, and so I need to kind of help them more than they're trading in some time, in some ways.
Yeah, and I'm guessing sort of like just touching on that as well. So obviously you said that they come to you when they've hit that wall, when they're in almost like
Mm.
that. One of some of them probably at their lowest ebb in terms of
Yeah.
their trading career and stuff like that. But I guess, for the subscribers and the listeners and that out there, you don't have to reach that point before you can work on your mindset, right? You can work on it and make it a preventative action rather than the cure to the issue, if you know what I mean. And then I guess it sort of like it helps in the longer term and as well, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's difficult. Well, it's not difficult to measure, but I think what's important, first of all, for traders is to obviously work on their strategy, their plan, their education, get to a point. Then it's when they start to, first of all, see the signs of maybe kind of self-sabotage. So I think it's better for the trader as they're going through those challenges, get help.
Yeah.
Because I've had traders contact me 27 years in trading, and the stories are pretty devastating. But it's never too late to turn it around, but it takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
Whereas, because those habits have been built up for decades. Whereas, that I am working with a trader at the moment, and he's sort of at the start of his journey. And we're addressing, as things come up, we're working through that. And he's like going, he's flying, and it's amazing to see. So
Yeah,
I would
and I guess
say,
it's
yeah.
part of the jigsaw, isn't it? Like you said, like work on the strategy and stuff as well. I think, I mean, for me personally, like as part of my courses, as we've spoken about before, like I have a section dedicated to my mindset, to mindset, but it's all self-taught stuff, which is why I wanted to partner with yourself in terms of collaborate with yourself and bring you into my academy members to get more of an expert view. But like I believe that mindset should be part of the education part process of it, of trading as well. But I guess equally, it's like, well, there's two caveats to it, isn't it? Like the emotional side of things really only gets heightened and sort of becomes more prominent when you start trading with real funds and when you start trading with more substantial amounts of funds, which obviously in the beginning phase, maybe you don't know the mindset issues you're going to face when you get to that point. So so you need to educate yourself a little bit, but there is that element of, well, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what's going to be affecting you when you get to it. So it's sort of like educating yourself, I guess, on looking out for the signs and then looking out. And again, this is where sort of trade plans, trade journals, and stuff like this really become important to be able to identify these issues that you're facing, both from a process point of view, but also from a mindset point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important, but you're right. Like it's difficult for traders to work on their psychology in a way if they don't know what they're kind of going to face or experience or how they're going to trade. I think it's important to address it when they're in the moment, like when they're first kind of going live, like
Yeah.
you said. Then you start to see, okay, this is the real world now.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, again, like I know some people sit there and say, like, you can't, you've got to trade with live funds straight away because you can't build the emotional skill sets, which I do agree with to a point, but I also believe that you need to build the foundational skills and the foundational knowledge in terms of like in a more safer environment, so that when you do go into the live environment, then you're better equipped from a process point of view to then deal with the mindset stuff that comes. So whilst I do agree that you can't become a successful trader in terms of on a demo or a simulated sort of environment, I think they're really key parts of the process to be able to get you into a position whereby when you do come into trading live funds, you do have to start dealing with those mindset issues. You're sort of better equipped from a skill set point of view to be able to take on the markets from that point of view.
Definitely, absolutely. I traders say to me, how long is it going to take for me to become consistent and profitable? I say, well, everybody's individual, but look at it like about 5 years.
Yeah.
And
I think you're right. Like everyone is different. It depends on the issues that you're going to face. It depends on the amount of time that you can have dedicated. It's about the journey that you take as well. Like so if you start off on the wrong path, it's going to take you a little while to wind back and go again. And if you build in bad habits, then it takes you longer to unwind those bad habits to install the good habits. Working with people like yourself on the subconscious side of things.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So is there sort of like one tip that you would sort of give to the listeners and that out there as to like one piece of advice, practical piece of advice that they could take away to help with their mindset?
Yeah, I think well, obviously that it's the most important thing is work on your psychology, and there is help out there. There are different tools, there are different things that can help. There's many different techniques for traders, breath work, mindfulness, meditation, all of these things, they're there for a reason, and they really helping traders. So I think the second thing is give yourself permission to be human.
Yeah.
Give yourself permission to make mistakes. We know that trading is completely counteractive to how we are as humans. We don't like losing money. And when we want to progress in life, we feel like we have to actively be moving, doing something. In trading, it's the opposite. It's about 80% or more waiting. And so it's counteractive to our human behavior. And alongside that, you've got the fears coming up. So I think really invest in your psychology and give yourself permission to just be human and just understand that it's a journey.
Yeah, I think you're again just. I mean, going back to one of the issues that I think I've come across with a lot of traders that I work with. Certainly, the ones that transition from wanting to make it their income rather than sort of like, because obviously some traders just want to make it a supplementary sort of like income. Some want to take it as a full time income, and I think one of the issues that I think a lot of traders face, one of the barriers is like, as you say, it's counterintuitive. So we're conditioned to go to work 9 to 5 or like in a thing, get paid at the end of the day, the week, the month, whatever your salary is. Whereas with a trader, it's like you can go to work and you can actually have to pay to go to work. And actually sometimes going to work and doing nothing is more beneficial and the right thing to do, sort of thing, which again, we're not really conditioned to think about and do.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many things that traders need to look at. That's, there's so many different layers, but once they kind of work through those different layers, like the beliefs, the subconscious, things like that, and then kind of reframing their behaviors in a way, it's very good results.
Yeah. Well, look, I think from my point of view, I'd just like to thank you again for coming on my channel and having this chat. I think like I think knowledge of the issues that people face with mindset is really going to help them. But obviously, the real power is actually taking action on that knowledge as well. So hopefully, people can sort of resonate with what we've sort of spoken about here today. And if they are having those issues, they can reach out. So, I mean, if you could tell us a little bit more about how people could contact you, what the future holds for you, and on that side of things, that'd be great.
Yeah, so it's a very exciting year, actually. I can't say too much at the moment, but I'm actually working with a team at the moment there's about 8 of us working on a project for hypnosis for traders. There's going to be something launched in July this year, which is going to be a game changer in the trading space. It is going to be it's just going to offer traders a huge amount of value. So I can't say too much, but I'm very excited. That's what I'm working on for the next few months with this team. So that's my sort of sole focus for this year. But my website is www.hypnosisfortraders.co.uk.
Okay, great. Well, look, I'm very excited to hear about what that launch is in July as well. Maybe if once you've launched, if you would like to come back on the channel and tell us a little bit more about that with a bit more information, that'd be great as well.
I'd love to, Ross. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Well, look, thank you very much for taking the time again, and looking forward to our webinar in a couple of weeks with the Academy members. And yeah, we'll be delighted to have you back again soon.
Yeah, thanks, Ross. Really looking forward to it. Thanks very much.
Okay.